Now, what if I tell you that you can make millions of dollars in crypto without even touching any crypto coins? How does that sound? So the following is the conversation with one of the most successful crypto KOLs, the guy who's absolutely killing it. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about narratives, about coins, about value creation, and the attention, because the attention is the biggest trade in crypto. So buckle up, tune in. We are rolling. Would you say that you crossed, guys, 7 figures on doing content for Web3?
Yeah,
75,000 for 2 posts on X.
probably Marina Fall, 50K.
BTC hits what number?
Probably 200K, bro.
Bitcoin is Ponzi.
I call myself Puke Rainbow. Yes, I know it's a stupid name.
What would it be? Like 3 assets and what allocation?
Sui, Solana, and some.
You're using fucking Gmail and then you are already on chain.
My person is honestly drinking alcohol and going raves.
Ethereum is that. Right, guys, we are live, and me, your host today, Vlad Swedenko, the founder and CEO of Cryptocurrency Ventures, where we are baking and scaling projects in crypto. And I'm so excited to be joined by Puker, my man. How's it going?
Going great, man. I think every time when I see you, whether it's on conference, on call, you just bring like great energy. And look at you, man. You're glowing. Your face is glowing, bro. I think that is like a proper skincare routine. What is it? 10 steps? 6 steps? Bro.
Yeah, man, it's just, train all day, every day and eat healthy food. That's pretty much it. But, each time I also see you, it just, the word that pops up in my mind is the PVO, which is positive vibes only, man, always. All right, nice. So let's kick it off.
Man.
Yeah,
Let's do this.
100%. So I just wanted to, if you can pick it up from the intro, just a short intro for people to kind of know a little bit about you. Of course, the man himself needs no introduction, but for those guys who just lost in the woods of Web3, just drop a couple of words about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So I call myself Puke Rainbow. Yes, I know it's a stupid name, but well, there's only one Puke Rainbow in Web3. So if you met me, you definitely remember my name. But long story short, I do podcasting. So like 2 years ago, actually it was 3 years ago when, I was in the space, totally lost, do not know what to do. And I'm like, what should I do? And when I go on to Twitter Spaces, all I hear is, Western people hosting spaces. And I'd be like, where is the Asian guy? Where is that, Asian slang, whether it's Malaysian, whether it's Hong Kong, like each Asian country, if you come, they have a particular slang to it. And I was like, you know what? Let me just start doing Twitter Spaces. So fast forward, doing Twitter Spaces for the past 3 years, working together with Rock Radio, handling all of Asia activation, called under the Pukecast brand. So what we do is we provide media services through 7 different countries, 7 different languages, content from video, from podcasts, from Twitter Spaces, from thread writing, all the way to in real life event. And right now, advising 6 different chains on content creation.
That's huge, man. And I keep seeing you all across my feed, the Puker man is everywhere. And I actually love because the first time we caught up, that was in Kuala Lumpur, is essentially the city where you live. And so you were having a booth with the podcasting kind of things there. And so I hopped on, just get to know you better, guys. That was absolutely great. And from there, I'm just seeing you all across these side events and the conferences, especially in Asia. Like we met in Hong Kong, we met like all across these different great conferences as well. And you keep your hands freakingly busy. Tell me, like, what's the main purpose of you doing that much of a content, knowing that, content right now is kind of super abundant, is like all over the place because of the chat GPT, of course, all this like AI agents that are prompting you this and that. Do you really feel that for you to master the content game, you gotta go in real life and just meet people, hang out with them, spread some vibes, feel this chemistry?
Yeah, so I would say like the 3 years, every year, what we do is totally different from the previous year, right? So the first year when I started, I'll be like, all right, this is year 1. Nobody know who Puke is. And the best way to connect with people, it still works today, it's Twitter Spaces. Because Twitter Spaces, when you invite when you invite someone, they always say yes, right? And then the second one is it's a great way, you spend 1 hour with that person and you really check in their vibe. It's even longer than a regular call that you book with someone, right?
Yeah.
And so, the third thing is like you connect on deeper level, you ask more personal question, and it's just not, what can you do for me? What can I do for you? So the first day itself for me, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna do every day 1 hour of spaces. And that 1 hour for one whole year become, I think I extended it to like 2 years of doing daily spaces. So
Now
it's
you
like
became
one
addicted to
day.
spaces, huh?
Bro, it's crazy, bro. So like, just everyone that I connected to, on the timeline, I just invite them to spaces. So that's year one. Year two, I'd be like, all right, I'm building a momentum. Let me be at every country in Asia and set up a podcast booth. So, some of it obviously wasn't paid. Some of it was, us fogging out our own money, but it's more towards, I would say, a branding play, right?
Yeah.
Like people go to all of the Asia events and they see my booth there. They'd be like, hey, this is a concept that is unique. They have not seen it before. What is this? So that was second year. It's more towards the branding. And then third year, obviously, it's I would say more monetization, more working with different brands and really choosing who you want to work together with.
Yeah, that's very nice. And I've been seeing like across these 3 years, you've been killing it with the content game, especially because the my understanding of why you're like really nailing that game is simply because you mastered this growth trifecta, whereby you have this triangle and there are three main corners. The first corner is to choose the white niche, which is crypto, is a fucking huge. Then the second of all, you gotta be good at it. Like you gotta be good at what you're doing because otherwise, like, what's the point, right? And then the third of all, which is I think that most of the people should understand, you have to become irreplaceable because when you become irreplaceable, that's where you're not selling your hours right now for money. You are now becoming a brand. You're becoming the certain like reputation layer where people are super happy to come and to pay. And I saw so many KOLs, so many KOL like syndicates, and every conference, every project, everyone needs an attention. And guess what? They became the gatekeeper of attention. So like they are getting invited to this like crazy Dubai mansions, to this crazy luxury VIP yachts, like all across the world. And so my question to you is, when we talk about the money making in Web3, because now crypto is kind of a bit off the rails in terms of the product crisis, like people speculate and pump that funds, then they're getting wrecked, the chart is nuked, the port is down, and so I'm living. I'm not gonna be engaged in this dirt, right? But you, when we talk about the value creation, of course it comes with the certain skills that you're able to provide for a marketplace, and then you can multiply the cash flow that you're having through investing in crypto. And so I guess one of the most lucrative ideas for people who are just about to start, or for founders, for projects out there, is just to understand how to crack the attention game. Do you have any specific, maybe secret sauce that you were using just to be able to crack the attention game?
Yeah, and I think attention game, especially this time round in Web3, it's really easy. Like why, Kaito, Cookie, and all of this, platform is booming
Smashing
is
it, bro.
because yeah,
Smashing
it's
it.
smashing it because like all of a sudden, right now you can actually have something to prove that you have attention. Previously, it's more towards the reputation. Like people work with, influencer 123 because they have reputation. They see everywhere on the timeline. They, go to all the crypto conference. They have a personal, touch to it, and then they pay these influencers for it. But right
Yeah.
now with InfoFi, actually, it's even easier. Like people say crypto is hard. If you come in today, how hard it's very hard to compete with people who has been here since 2 3 years ago, but
Yeah.
it's wrong because like this year itself, because of Kaito, there's so many new KOLs that first of all do not show their face. We don't know whether they are guy, they are girl, or whether they came out from the
The
same
guys can be
factory.
even accountable for what they are saying, you know? They're just the cat picture on the profile. So who the
Yes.
fuck is the dude?
Yeah. And because of they kind of like go into one ecosystem, keep spamming it, join the groups, the yapping groups, and then just like cross communicate. And then all of a sudden you see
Yeah.
them hitting up the chart. So it's like, man, I've seen accounts that I have not seen before pop up in maybe 2 to 3 months, and they are the top creators now in because of Kaito. So
Yes.
like I would say traditionally, or maybe 2, 3 years ago, the main formula is, find your niche. And the best thing or the best advice that I could get before Kaito was actually to go onto a project. Like, so for me itself, how I build up the reputation first is because of Puke Rainbow, I joined the Doodles community, right?
Mm,
And it's, doing content for the Doodles and becoming that person that say, hey, this is the Doodles content creation guy. From Doodles, I move on to Azuki, and then
ooh,
changing my
quite huge.
PFP, and then right now I become the Azuki content creation guy. And then from Azuki, I say, hey, I think Rock Radio it has really been killing it. How do I align myself with the same vision of Rock Radio? So I apply and be, hey, Rock Radio, you don't have Asian creator. Let me be your Asian creator, and I will wrap your brand in all of the things I do. And they'll be like, all right, cool. So now I'm with Rock Radio. And it's really choosing the brand that can bring you forward, not bring you backwards. And it's just, riding onto the momentum. So from Rock Radio, there's this thing called Daily Dose by Ryan
Yeah.
Carson. And then I did that. So I told Ryan Carson, hey, you have Daily Dose. Let me run Daily Dose Asia, which is 1 hour before Daily Dose. And that really took off. The first episode was like 50 people. Before the whole project rock, I was running the I would say the daily spaces, maximum 500 to 600 people. And so, like, it's always gonna be, yeah, I know that I can't be special by myself
Yeah.
because I need attention and I need quality people. So, in the narrative of like Web3, where can I align myself and be the loudest person in that area? And my talent's always gonna be that Asia element to it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, for Rock Radio, I'm be like, all right, let me run Rock Radio Asia. For Daily Dose, let me run Daily Dose Asia. So it's like it's always gonna be your age, something that you have that other people may not be pushing it. Use that and align with the brand, and I think that you can grow together with the brand.
Yeah, it's huge. And so, like you said, there is no kind of the one secret sauce that solves all the problems in the world, but there are certain some shortcuts, right, that you can apply if you build your community or personal brand in Web3. And I guess we are pretty much in the era of the personal brands where the founder becomes the main marketing of the project because there are so many AI agents, so much of the chat GPT mess all across the feed. And it's like on the one side of the coin, it's hard to stand out because there's so much of the inputs are getting injected in the ecosystem, like the contents, right? And then, but on the flip side, there's really few guys who are doing this authentically. There are really few and handful of folks who can master this by delivering the value in the tone of voice that is catchy, that is attractive, that is just, entertaining to listen to. And so, to your point exactly, Puker, is when you build your personal brand, of course you start by going small, like you are small, you are zero. If you tap into the existing communities, if you show up every day, because that's something that brings you luck, because if you show up every day all over the place, if you're doing everything it takes, the one of those days will be lucky day, right? And so by showing up every day and doing your best, you're never gonna miss the lucky day. That's like the only shortcut that you gotta apply. Agreed, not?
Yeah, 100%. It's like, for example, I see the past 3 months a lot of this, abstract KOLs, right? Because
Yeah.
abstract is a chain that is doing, very good.
The
And then a lot of
narrative.
and then a lot of, KOLs, they attach themselves to it. And I see, a bunch of maybe I would say 20 to 25 people just riding the wave. And the one that really stands out are the ones that say, all right, let me cover abstract gaming. Let me
Yeah.
cover
It's like
abstract
super
DeFi.
niche, very,
Super
very,
niche.
very
Yeah.
narrow.
Yeah. So like if you can be that person, is like you don't want to cover everything, but in an ecosystem, what you like the most? Like what are you most passionate about? Is it
Yeah.
gaming? Is it AI? Is it DeFi? Is it RWA? And you become that expert in that particular chain and you can see them growth. Like before this whole Kaido thing, like my first big break after the after the Daily Dose Asia was actually Polygon. So like I during that time, there was this one wave where people are changing. I think during the Ordinals time, people are changing or putting their bio beside with that orange square. I'm not too sure
Uh-huh.
if you remember that. And
Uh-huh.
I'd be like, okay, what can I do to create a movement like this? So I was like, all right, if people are putting orange square, let me check the emoji and see what other color square we have. And it's like, all right, we have a purple square. So immediately I told my co-founder Maeve, it's like, let's gather 50 NFT projects, 50 Polygon NFT project, and just do like the biggest mint ever on Twitter Spaces and run it for 12 hours. And so like during that 12 hours, we get everybody to, change the background to purple. And then,
Yeah.
we created this thing called pushing P, right? We play the song, but technically it's like pushing Polygon, and we get people to change, put their square thing on their bio. And instantly, it blew up. And I was like, shit, this is how I take from, previously I'm running 600 Twitter Spaces concurrently to right now it's like I think that time it was 2,000 people on the Twitter Spaces, and the NFT for
Live.
12 hours minted like 60,000 pieces. And it's like, all right, so you're always gonna give someone like a reason why they need to follow you, why they need to tune on to the spaces. And if you can always create the reason and always like have a more movement, I would say like a movement behind it,
Oh
people
yeah.
love it. Like Azuki is like Ikuzo, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
then it's
yeah.
like,
There is like a one word that brings the whole marketing layer to it. It just creates the bridge that is branding now, and the branding is like thousands of different symbols and signals and meanings. Like, the sailor who says, Bitcoin is a digital gold. And he was on the pod recently and he said, that if I were to write the white paper, I mean, on like 50,000 pages, no one's gonna read it. So once I tweet Bitcoin is a digital gold, everyone kind of clicks with it.
yeah.
Very nice. So now on this point, I want to segue into your like personal kind of pathway into the content creation of crypto. And so tell me this, because there are so many killers that are getting started. There are so many killers that are already big. How do you monetize your audience? Because I mean, once you have an attention, everyone wants to come to you to partner up somehow or to get you on space, get you here, get you on yachts, get you wherever. But how do you monetize your attention that you've already built, the brand that is now more about, hey, I'm the gatekeeper to the Asian market? Because now when I think about, I want to really expand on Asian markets. I'm just you popping up in my head. So how do you monetize that if you're able to share any numbers like, hey, I just, charge this amount of money, that amount of money, yearly contracts, I'm doing this stuff for the ecosystems, just for people to understand that you can actually genuinely, honestly make money in crypto, not just off the back of trading pump funds.
Yeah, for sure. I think like before we talk about how we monetize, like the scale in the last 3 years on how we build is a little bit different, right? Because like in Asia, we go into like different countries and we set up teams. So right now we have 7 teams across Asia. And under Pukas, we have Pukas China, Pukas Thailand, Pukas Vietnam, Pukas Indonesia, Pukas India, Pukas Japan, and Pukas Korea, right? So it's just like 7 different teams, and each teams, some we have 2 people, some we have 3 people, and their job, or I would say their job scope, is really to kind of do a lot of different content in their own local language. So you know how, for example, in China people are using WeChat,
Yeah.
in Thailand people are using Telegram, in Taiwan people are using Line. So every country runs their community differently, and especially we have people in all of these grounds, so we understand them. So essentially Pukas comes with 3 pillars, right? The first one will be education. So my job every day is to be in front of the camera, to be in front of the screen, scroll, and just find like the next alpha. Because like
Well,
these people in Asia, if you give them a deal of like 100 US, 300 US, it's already a 1 month salary for them, right?
yes.
So for us, it's like, okay, what is the next alpha? How can I find it, get a lot, and then feed my community, but not just feeding it in English, feed it in 7 different language. So everybody gets to know what is happening. So like just imagine,
It's like an omni-channel platform, right? Where people just understand on different languages what's actually happening and what's the alpha.
yeah, because like they don't understand English. They when they go scrolling on on the timeline, they don't get the alpha. They only get like Chinese alpha, but they don't get like English alpha. And even if they get it, they don't understand it. So it's
Okay.
our job to, first pillar is education, second pillar is creating fun content, and then the third pillar is vibes. So first one, it's, I identify, okay, there's an opportunity, for example, Laudio or Pill.
Yeah.
These are the opportunities. How can I create content from it? Doing Twitter spaces with the founder, creating threads, doing a lot different types of videos, and then the team will go and create all of these different content and
Yeah.
then give it to the community. So that's how we've been able to grow our community. In I would say every country that we have, minimum we do 3 to 5 events a year. So it's not just giving alpha online, but we be there offline, we meet the community member, we have fun, we party together. That is basically how we structure our whole community. So this year alone, we identify what is some of the narrative that we like. So for example, last year everybody was talking about Tan ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
And Tan ecosystem, ever since they say, hey, if you build on Tan, you need to only be on Telegram and not anything else. And then it
Telegram
kind
mini
of like,
games are the
yeah,
next huge wave of
and it kind
crypto.
of fuck themselves, right, with the
That's
TVL and
true.
stuff like that. And
True.
so I identify saying, hey, the next thing is gonna be Kaya, which is ton I would say mini apps on the ecosystem, or the Line ecosystem. And so like for mini games, I identify, okay, this is gonna be a huge, I would say, upside for our community. And
Yeah.
so we work with Kaya alone. Like I would say, we work with ecosystem and usually it's a 1 year kind of deal. We sign up to 6 figure for 1 year.
6 figure for 1 year.
Yeah.
And all
And
the
what we
content creators now like, ooh, I have a lot to do in Web3. And you're very bullish on Kaya now. I'm keep seeing that you are posting about them, bull posting actually.
Yeah. So for us is identifying what are the ecosystem that we are bullish on and how can we work together with them and create great content. So like, yeah, 6 figure is great, but it's not just online Twitter spaces weekly and that's it. We
Okay.
fly to the event, we talk to the people, we film podcasts, we do fun videos. It's a whole
That's dedication, man. That's dedication.
Yeah, yeah. So it's, I would say our service to this ecosystem is bring the vibes to them and cover their content online and offline. So we become like this media partner officially for them. And everything that we do, whether it's, meeting the team, whether it's, walking down the street,
Yeah.
but it's just us talking about the ecosystem. And since we have the Kaito leaderboard as well, it's us topping the leaderboard, right? So it's not just saying, hey, you pay me, I'm boo posting you, that's it. But I'm
Yeah.
the top in terms of boo posting. I'm the top when it's, come to content creation. It's all high tier. So, we identify, for example, if it's DeFi, then it's
Yeah.
Unichain with Uniswap, right? If it's Move language, it's Aptos. If
Yeah.
it's, on-chain education, it's Open Campus. So we have 6 different ecosystem that we are bullish on, and we are just working with them and seeing, whatever that they do, our community gets the upside, our community gets the alpha, and that's
Yeah.
just, the snowball effect.
And what I like about this though is you're not glued to the one specific project. You just can do this simultaneously while bringing value to many ecosystems, many great projects, and just contributing to the space. This is what I actually allow. Would you say that you crossed, guys, 7 figures and doing content for Web3?
Yeah.
7 fig, baby, 7 fig. Nice. So let's play a short game now, because I heard so many ridiculous numbers that QOLs are charging for their post, and I myself spent like so much money on the QOLs where we were working with projects, accelerating them at Cryptocurrency Ventures, all that. And so now, what's the craziest number ever that you heard somewhere in the space, or maybe you charge projects for collaboration? Just give me the number.
So I would say like top tier, like 30 minutes Twitter spaces is probably 15 to 20,000.
15 to
20,000.
20. Okay, good.
Yeah, like that
Is it the craziest number you heard in the space about collaborations?
crazy number, I would say probably Marina Fall, 50K.
50K. Okay, good.
Yeah.
You know the craziest number I heard?
What was it, bro?
It's even bigger though. So it's 75 thousand, not dirhams, not whatever, dollars, like $75,000 for doom drums for 2 posts on X. $75,000. I'm talking right now about like tier one, but just tier one, not the rock star tier one who is Anthony Pompliano or Eric Trump, or Justin Sun. I'm talking about regular people who are just making content. And this is crazy, isn't it?
It's I would say it's crazy, but do they get the deals though?
They get the deals though, bro. They get the deals. That's
I would
I was
I
thinking
would
I was
love to
thinking the
see the
same. Like
formula, bro. Holy
they probably are pretty empty because this is a ridiculous price to charge. But once the bull run picks things up and fundamentals are getting changed to fundamentals, people are spraying and praying, especially when it comes to the new prospects, new projects, and also it applies to the huge ecosystems because they are sitting on the billions of dollars of cash that they are making, that they have raised effectively, and all that. So on this point, I wanted also to kind of switch gears to the narrative you are bullish on, because now it feels only Bitcoin has a bull market on. The rest is just nuked. The rest is just, somewhere on the sideways. And so my thesis on this cycle is pretty much about not fundamentals, but the intrinsic value. Because we are so full of marketing, we are so full of the loud words of the speculations, all that. But there's very few projects who are making the consumable products that people can come, pay, and use. Let's say Hyperliquid. People are using Hyperliquid because it solves some of the most important use cases: DAX, perps, trading. That's pretty much it. And so that's why they are making a bunch of money off the back of fees. They are just keep buying back the tokens and burning the tokens, and it plays well on the chart. So, and the thesis that we are having actually at Cryptocurrency Ventures is consumer crypto, where you understand that the next big wave is gonna be led by those who are making something genuine that you can use. You develop this consumerism across the branding of the project, and it sets up a solid floor so people understand, all right, I'm safe. I kind of can buy it and hold it. Whereas 99.9999999% of the crypto projects and tokens is just the overnight play. That's it. So what is your take on Thesis? Where are we in the cycle? What do you have to say?
Yeah, I think like there's two parts to it, right? One is the quick money and one is really the tech. So like the quick money I've been seeing, a lot of wins our community have is on NFTs. Like NFTs is
NFTs
back.
again, or are we talking about 2021?
No, NFTs again, bro. Like
Shit.
recently, we work closely with Variable, and they have Rari chain, and they've been shipping out Ws. I think like the last mint was espresso, and it's minted out instantly 10x. And this week, actually, in 2 days now, Cam, which is in another L1, is going to do their collection on Variable as well. So like I think if you talk about immediate, these are the ones. So like one is like Ponzi games, Ponzi games on Abstract, which is Bitcoin, and then all of these games that you could farm and then get like short momentum in a 1 week, 2 weeks. Or it's like Laudio, or you have like the CD5, which is called Peel, right? P33L. Like these are all the small wins that you could get, not super rich, but
we're talking about like tens of thousands of dollars, thousands of dollars, or what amount of money?
below 10K wins.
Below 10K
Yeah,
wins
these are like
per
below 10K
weekday,
wins.
hour, month, year.
In like 1-2 weeks.
Oh, 1-2 weeks, pretty good side hustle.
Yeah, pretty good. Like those were the ones. Like I would see, NFT on Abstract is good, NFT on Ravelbird is good. Like NFT site is this, and then I see like a few games which is more towards like Ponzi games is doing pretty well. Like today, on Abstract, there's like Pengugochi, which people say is better than Bitcoin, where people play the game for 2 weeks and earn I think like 5 to 8K. So those are like short term, but for long term, like I do believe one in consumer crypto, right? Because I see Abstract, I see Sophon, I see T-Rex, a new one from Arbitrum. They are pushing consumer crypto, and it's
you see Kado, you see Kaya, you see like so many projects that are actually trying to be positioned well and take this new wave of the consumer crypto builders. So yeah, go ahead, please.
because it's like, all right, first thing first, you walk up to someone and you get them to be on chain. It's them putting their email address and poof.
And that's it. You're using fucking Gmail and then you are already on chain. I mean, isn't
Yeah.
it something that we have been dreaming about like for forever since crypto was created? Like Gmail, and we are there on chain.
Yeah.
Like,
And then the second one is like, for me to transact to you, it's easy. Whether you are on app A or you're on app B, we can communicate, right? I think like that's the second level if it's just payment stuff. And then you come all of the different apps that you could try on the platform. Like that is something I believe is not immediate, but I think it's like a long-term,
yeah,
more towards like a long-term investment. That's for
nice.
me. But another narrative that, especially I would say in Asia, is actually AI, right? Because the boys from Virtual, shout out to Virtuals.
Shout out to virtuals, man. Shout out.
Yeah, the boys from Virtuals are from Malaysia, and it's ever since, all of the Virgin points, it's W after W, right? It's
Mhm.
it's pretty smart. A lot of people, they load up maybe five different accounts. Each account's like 2, 3K. And then they just go in, buy the token, max stake it, and then join all of these different pre-sale. And
Yeah,
it's tricky, right? Because you get the wins and they ask you to max stake it. If you
yeah.
max stake it, you get more upside. And then if you sell it, you get into this period called the jail where you can't join anymore for like maybe 9 days and
It's a
you miss out
W.
all the W's,
It's a W,
right?
man. It's a
Yeah.
W.
So that I would say like short term NFTs, all of these games. Mid term, I would say maybe virtuals,
Yeah,
and then long term would be consumer crypto.
yeah.
But I do know like DeFi is coming back as well because like end of the day we go one cycle and we realize that hey there's no utility besides all of these vaporware products,
Maybe it's a
and
DeFi
the
summer
best
once
utility is
again.
DeFi.
DeFi summer once again in 2025. Who knows? Who knows? But but yeah, I love you brought up a point about the Ponzi, and Bitcoin is Ponzi to an extent as well because you don't have anything that can be consumed. There's just the coin that is of course capped with the fixed supply. That is of course pretty transparent, super clear for people because that's on chain. But at the end of the day, there are some people who came early. They are getting rich off the back of people who are coming late. So it certainly has some Ponzinomics. And where I'm coming from with this thesis is like pretty much everything in crypto has some Ponzinomics because of tokens or the business model or the network effect kind of abused to an extent because so many chains are doing this. They are like farming these airdrop Cybil accounts, which actually crashes the reputation. But now I want us also to talk about this. So, where do you feel we're gonna be at the end of a cycle and when exactly this cycle finishes? So, give us the time, and let's say we can use the North Star metric, the price of a BDC, or maybe your different favorite assets up until the end of the cycle.
When this bull cycle gonna end?
Never.
Okay, wait. Before
Never
that,
fucking ever.
do you think right now we are in a bull cycle?
Like I said, I believe that Bitcoin certainly is in the bull. The rest is in the bear, 100%. But I feel though, we have pretty much topped. Like we've got the most pro crypto president in US. We got so many great builders. We got a bunch of funding being pumped into the ecosystem. We got a President Trump launching the meme coin. We got a craze and pump fund, all that. I'm just thinking like, well, what can happen so it drives the ceiling higher? And for me, this is like only fat brings more money, which is
Yep.
something they will do at some point because China already started to do so and the different countries as well. Bitcoin reserves are kind of picking up. So that's huge. And then when they print this money, I guess maybe that can happen in Q4, Q3 this year. So that will take on top of that half a year to be spent by the consumers. So like my take, if we are going ahead with my prats, is gonna be maybe 2026, like Q2. We're gonna be pretty much rolling down with the whole the curve of the cycle. And the next kind of huge wave is gonna be brought by the new money being pumped into the system. That's pretty much it.
I think like so I have a few theories on this, right? I believe like
Any
this whole
conspiracy?
period, no
Fuck.
conspiracy, but the whole period actually we are in a bull cycle. It's just that it's mellowed down, but it's not really a bear cycle to it. Like
Yeah.
I like why for me, why Ethereum price is going down, whereas Bitcoin and stuff is going up, is because like there's just too many L2s, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, there's so many tokens to hold, and Ethereum there's no reason why you need to hold ETH anymore. Infrastructure is great, but there's no conviction on why you need to hold
So
ETH.
something you are saying Ethereum is that, just for the show notes, for
Nah,
hype.
nah, nah. I didn't say Ethereum is that. I say Ethereum is in terms of the tech wise, it's always will be there. It's like the
Yeah.
backbone of everything that EVM. Like I'm a strong believer of EVM, but in terms of price going up, no. But can we use that as an indicator and say, yeah, Bitcoin is bullish because price goes up? Not really, because like Ethereum is great, the price don't go up because all of these other chains price go up. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna say that we are still in the bull cycle. But for me, I would say like end of the year probably. Then we will see things slowing down. And for me, the timeline is always beginning of the year, Q3. This is like the best, like beginning of the year, maybe 1-2 months in, and then Q3. This is the moment that everybody is hype.
So when do you feel that we're gonna pretty much wrap up with the bull cycle? Like next year, this year?
I think next year, end of next year, bro.
End of next year.
End of next year.
So we're still having 1.5 years like ish to drive
Yes.
the tide.
Yeah.
And then price wise, tell me like your conviction in terms of BTC hits what number at the peak?
Next year, this time round,
Cycle, just the cycle.
this
We're
cycle,
gonna put you on spot for this prediction, so think twice.
probably 200K, bro.
200K.
200.
200K. Okay, that's something. Okay, still 2x. That's quite good, quite good. And then for anything else, do you have certain predictions like price-wise, maybe Ethereum, maybe Solana? And tell me also on the side, like if you were given with $1 million and you should spend it like for the maximum 3 assets in 10 minutes or it expires, what would it be? Like 3 assets and what allocation?
I think for me, definitely Sui, Solana, and some BTC. There's this.
That's my DGen, bro. That's our axe gang. Good picks. No ETH, no Bitcoin, no DeFi. Fuck it all. We are rolling with the narratives of the cycle. Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
Also, we got so many questions on our post on Axe that we published, like for people who were having any questions for you
Yep.
specifically. And so one that actually, pretty much caught up my eye is this. Like, should KOLs disclose the tokens they hold while shilling this on X? What is your take on that?
Yeah. I think like people need to know that you have stake. People don't need to know like how much you own, because that's really, I think that's something that you don't really need to tell people. But as long as you have skin in the game, that's good. A lot of times, a lot of KOLs, they show, for example, Kaito Yappers, right? But you ask them back, all right, so how much, token do you own? And they don't really own because they're waiting for the Kaito airdrop. And then once they get it, they sell it, right? So for me, it's, obviously, I think having conviction, that would be the best way, because like when you do something, you have the tokens that you hold, people can't say shit about you anymore.
Yeah. Because you like have your vested interest. You put your money where your mouth is. And that's the strongest ever conviction and the card to play if you are trading attention, if you are KOL, if you are whoever who has any audience, you're just telling the truth, which has always been the backbone of crypto. So now we're gonna wrap it up on this one. So the question is from guy named Stulka is, ask how to survive bear market mentally, not just financially. And as I saw, you're quite active on sports, on the healthcare. You were doing an ice plunge in Thailand. So tell me what's your take on this question?
I think this is like what Maeve asked, right? What's my poison? My poison is honestly drinking alcohol and going raves. Like that's just
you're a
something that
huge
I
party
like.
animal, isn't it?
Yeah. That's something
Rock
I
and roll,
like.
baby.
Yeah, like trance rave, techno rave, hardstyle rave. I think like just finding. I think first off, you need to have a good friends, a good people, or a good group of people. Like you can't do crypto alone. I don't think you can do crypto alone where all your friends is non-crypto, only you, they will never understand, I would say, the sufferings and the difficulties that you had. So always surround yourself with, three or four good friends that is doing crypto together. I think that really helps. That's the first. The
Let's get
second one
wrecked
is,
together, right? Getting
yeah,
wrecked
yeah.
together is way funnier.
Yeah. And the second one is really, finding what you like and then taking some time to do it. Like, I know a lot of people get burnt out because they be like, oh shit, if I do this, if I take a holiday, I will never, I miss the timeline, I miss all of the alpha. Bro, in crypto, there's always going to be alpha.
Yeah.
There's always going to be, places that you can make money. And if you miss one, you're gonna miss more as well, but definitely one that you will hit if you show up every day, like what you said. So I would say first, find a group of friends to do crypto together. Second, whatever your poison is, just go do it.
Yeah, 100% because we're all social species and you have to find the group that you resonate with. So I like this take so much. Now, on this side, we'll wrap it up. Maybe there are any data sets you wanted to share with the guys who are, trying to kill it to find the next alpha, to find the next big shot in crypto.
Yeah, I think for me, it's finding the narrative that you like. So if you are a DeFi guy, then go to, a place that is strong in DeFi. So like now I would say, Move Language, Aptos Suite, these are good places for DeFi. Unichain, which is by Uniswap as well. And if you are a gaming guy, then, go deep into gaming chains like Ronin, like Scale. These are like more gaming stuff. And if you are more into like, education, these science, and then all of these like new narrative research stuff, then go on to like open campus and
Yeah.
all of this. So it's first knowing what you like, second finding a chain that you love it, and third obviously just go to in real life events, like go to token 2049 for example, and shortlist what are some of the narratives that I like, what are some of the events that's there. Go there, attend it, and see whether if this is something that you like. And if it's you like, then just double down in the community, connect with people. That's it.
So stay focused is the data set. And also the one huge stuff for people who are listening. Thank you so much for listening up to the very end. Write down the comment in the comment section down below with your favorite quote from the podcast, and we'll think with Puker what we can do, what we can airdrop you with. Maybe it's gonna be something like a book, maybe the spaces that we can do together. So write down the best quote from the podcast that you actually like the most. And my man, thank you so much for being here. You are one of the most vibing human being in crypto, and I very, very, very honored to have you on today.
Thanks for the time, bro.
Stay undeniable, brother. I catch you up.
Yes, sir.